Are you struggling to book guests for your podcast? Keep watching to learn how I got started. Today, we're going to cover how to book guests for your podcast. The first thing you're going to want to do is to brainstorm the guests that you already have a connection with. These are the people that you already have an unfair advantage on, that you have a trusted relationship or a connection that you can make. You're going to grab a journal and sit there and write down a long list of names of the people that would be good fits for your show. Anyone that you already have a link with that is going to allow you to make that initial connection and make the offer of them to come onto your show. The second thing that you're going to want to do is to create a messaging template for how you're going to approach these potential guests to come onto your show. Here, I personally just created a document in Google Docs and spent a minute or two just to write the initial message that I will be able to then use as a template to approach the potential guests that I want on my show. To note, I only copy and paste the template and then I adapt it and make it personal to that person. What we don't want this message to look like is that it is just copy and paste for every single guest. Therefore, you want to tailor that template that you use so that it can suit the person that you're asking to come onto your show. Create a template, use that template to message all your guests, but tailor it to suit them. Number 3, create a form for your guests to complete. This form is going to have their name, their email address, their physical address. It's going to ask them what topics they would like to talk about, what topics they wouldn't like to talk about, and potentially what they would like to promote whilst being on your show. This allows you to do a couple of things. One, it's going to allow you to confirm when you're going to meet to do your podcast. 2, it's going to give you an address that's going to allow you to send them a gift. And 3, it's going to give you information about what they do and don't want to talk about on your show, and then also what they want to promote. This allows you to prepare accordingly and to make your podcast the best that it can be. I personally use Typeform to send out the form, but you can also use Google Forms or even WooForm as well. The next thing that I have in place is an online calendar. I personally use Calendly that is linked to a Google Calendar. This enables me to put my availability for the guests to be able to book in for the podcast. I can select the days and the times that I am available and send a link to the guest, which they can then use to book into my calendar. This enables me to book multiple guests and fit them into my calendar without having to manually go back and forth to find a time. Again, I use Calendly, but you can also use Schedule Once. You can even use Acuity as well. The links will be down below. Next up on how to book guests for your podcast is to actually go and ask for referrals. This can be people that you want to be connected with. This can be asking people that you already know if they have any potential guests that would be a good fit on your show, or just call people for you to meet. A lot of people like to network, and a lot of people also like to be guests on other shows. Therefore, go and ask the people that you already know if they know anyone else who could be a good fit for your show. You have to have this level of outreach if you're going to have a constant stream of guests coming onto your show. Next up, we're talking about gambling. And what do I mean by gambling? Gambling means that you're going to take a risk and you're potentially going to email or connect or message with someone that you don't think will even say yes to coming on your show. You're going to reach out to that influencer, to that business owner, to that celebrity, whoever it may be, to take the gamble and ask them if they would be willing to be a guest on your show. In my experience, this doesn't always pay off, but if you can make it a win-win situation for you and for them, the likelihood of you having success goes up. What I mean by this is that if you can tell them, hey, I have 1,000 downloads per month, or my niche is exactly the same as your audience, they are more likely to come onto your show. So moral of this story is take that gamble. Create a long list of people that could potentially be on your podcast and go and start contacting them, reach out to them, ask them to be on the show. The final option that you have is that you can actually choose to pay for guests to come onto your podcast. You can reach out to them and let them know that you're willing to pay $300, $400, $500, however much it may be, for them to come onto your show. This isn't something that I have personally explored yet, but I also know that it is an option should I want to pursue it for future episodes. I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. If you have, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow and it makes me happy too. If you want to learn why you should start a podcast and then also what to do before starting a podcast, you'll be able to find the link to those videos down below.